Guys, we're dealing with fractions here, okay? So these are just the fundamentals of fractions. So you understand the basics of fractions here, you're good to go. So 2 over 3. 2 over 3 is what we call a fraction, okay? So we have a number on the top, we have a number at the bottom. So that's what we call the top number is what we call the numerator. The bottom number is what we call the denominator, okay? So the bottom, the top, so this one is a fraction. 7 over 5 also is another fraction, but we call it an improper fraction. Why do we call it an improper fraction? Is because the numerator is greater or higher than the denominator. As you can see, 7 is higher than 5, and that's why we call it improper fraction. Next, so we have what we call a mixed number. Mixed number, you have 3, then you have a 5 over 8. Okay, so a mixed number is the composition of 2 elements. One is a whole number, which in this case, which is positive 3, and then you have another fraction next to it, which is 5 over 8, and that's what we call a mixed number. Now, when it comes to a proper fraction is very simply the kinds of fractions that we know about. So the numerator is lower than the denominator. So we have 4 over 9 here. As we can see, the 4 is lower than the 9. That's what we call a proper fraction. So now, when we're talking about reducing a fraction, so the reduction of a fraction. So that means what? Anytime, ladies and gentlemen, you're dealing with a fraction, then you have to solve a problem. Your final answer has always to be in a reduced format. That means what? If you get to have an answer as 4 over 6, you cannot leave your final answer as 4 over 6 because it's not yet reduced. How do we reduce it? Is to be able to find the number that can go into those numbers evenly. Okay? So 4 and 6, is there any number that can divide, that 4 and 6 can divide evenly? It's 2. Okay? So 4 can divide 2, and then 6 can divide 2. All right? So that'll give us what? 2 over 3, because 4 divided by 2 is twice, 6 divided by 2 is 3 times, and then this, ladies and gentlemen, is your final answer. Okay? Now, changing a mixed number into an improper fraction. Changing a mixed number into an improper fraction. So we have 3, 5 over 8, the same number that we have here as a mixed number. How do we change into an improper fraction? We're going to take the whole number, multiply by the denominator. Whatever we get, we add it to the numerator, the top number. So that means we take 3 times 8, and then whatever we get, we add 5 to it over 8. Do not forget the 8 stays at the bottom, okay? 8 is still your denominator. So you end up with what? 3 by 8 is what? 24, and 24 plus 5 is 29. Okay, so you have 24 here. And then you add it to 5, which is 29 over 8. And this one is an improper fraction because, again, the top number is higher than the bottom number, period. Now, if you can still reduce it by finding a number that can divide these two evenly, yes, you can go ahead and then do it. If not, you can leave it like that. Now, last but not least, changing an improper fraction into a mixed number. So how do we do that? We're dealing with our 7 over 5, the same number that we had over here. How do we change this number into an improper fraction? So how do we do that? It's just to be able to make a quick division, okay? So you guys get with me. So we're going to do this division here. So we're doing 7, okay, divided by 5. How many times 5 goes into 7? 1 time, right? So it's 1. So it's 1 times 5, 5. So then you're going to subtract. You get 2 here. So you have a remainder, correct? So what are we going to do? So to now write your mixed number, you're going to take the quotient, which is 1. That's the number that you're going to have. And then you now make the remainder as the numerator, and then the 5, which is your divisor. Okay? So again, the whole number is your quotient here. So that goes 1. And then to make up your fraction, you take the remainder, right? And then over the divisor, which is 5. So that when you check it very quickly, what happens to you? 1 times 5 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. So it's 7 over 5. And then this is your final answer, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? We're good.